Oh, so I have to do the buttons as well. Right, okay, hello. Welcome. So, for the love of cables, why, in such an age of technology, am I banging on about cables? Well, it seems ridiculous. We're making new technology, and in my personal opinion, it's not working. There's so many elements to it that I just feel you're getting it wrong, and we need to really step back and take a look at it. I'm not an expert in this technology field. I'm a designer, and I'm the person at the end of the chain. I'm the person using this stuff. I'm the person implementing it on projects, and I'm the person who wants it to succeed. There's so many points where I'm just so frustrated every time. So I decided to talk about this word, connectivity, which was the #1 word for Light and Build 2018. And so many people are talking to me about the build-up of this connectivity. Oh, it's going to change everything. You're going to be so happy. It's going to be amazing. And I was just I just looked at this jargonistic word and I thought to myself, this is you're going to have to do something really new at this show to really impress me, because at the moment, this technology is going nowhere. So I have some stories before this and the way that it kind of built up. And one of them is my friend, Joe. He's really obsessed with this technology. He's got Alexa and Siri linked up to his Hue, his Sonos, loads of stuff in his office. And I went around, I was like, oh, we're chilling out after work. And he's like, hey, Alexa, turn the lights on, please. Nothing. Hey, Alexa, turn the lights on, please. Nothing. He's like, fine. This is ridiculous. Hey, Siri, turn the lights on, please, and still nothing. And then the fourth time of him asking Siri, he just managed to scrabble around his desk and find a light switch and turned it on. And I just think this is just I was just sitting there laughing in the darkness until he managed to turn the lights on. It's just why this interaction and this connectivity between things is so poor. So this is the kind of other background things that you kind of research, you show at presentations. And I took all the company names out so they could live stream it. How many servers could it take to turn on a light bulb? And this guy saying, hold my beer. So this is a major reputable communication, Internet of Things light bulb. And does it really need to be this complicated? And we're working on a project at the moment where we're actually employing someone to make us an Internet of Things device. And it's really, really complicated. And it can be this complicated. I'm happy with that. I'm happy for the experts to do this. But for me as the end user, you've got to start making things more simple and make things better. And we'll get to that. So this is how I got to talk here. I emailed Martin and Sharon a very cryptic message saying, I am the cable Illuminati department, and I will hijack your transmission and propaganda based on connectivity. All praise the cable. And managed to get in with such a funny picture as well. This all was the build-up to Light and Build 2018. I didn't put this on my outward networks. This was only on Facebook. I kind of had a massive rant about cables online and said, look, I'm going to this trade show, but I've made this design of a T-shirt. I was just going to get one made and wear it as a bit of a micro protest. And 30 of my friends all wanted them. So I got a massive print run done. And this is the design. And it's the Illuminati triangle. The eye is slightly pointed up to stare at you when you're talking to someone. And it's cable cross-sections all over, and it has the holy trinity of live, neutral, and earth in the corners. And it's meant to stare at you and tell you, maybe you're not thinking right, maybe you should see a different view in this kind of things. So yeah, it's kick out the jams. If you know about the Illuminati, you know about the jams. And yeah, let's make something new. So even this dude who was printing it found this whole concept. He's a printer in Southbourne near Bournemouth, hand screen printing, and he was like, yeah, my dad wanted to throw his Alexa out the window. It's brilliant. And yeah, got this whole run, posted them out, and yeah, loads of people really liked it. Now there's one thing that just before I went to Frankfurt, I had a really stressed time, and I managed to work at the mecca of cables, if there could be such a place. In Cornwall, there's a little town called Porthcurno, which is extremely famous in cable history. It's where the first Atlantic cable come off, the Atlantic, and where all the communication before the war, 100 years, were done by a telegraph cable. And I got to work there, and this is me with my hard hat with the cable Illuminati, and they have all sorts of cable stuff, it's awesome. It's a huge history of how cables work, what they're doing. This place was so desired to hit during the war that it was, they put flamethrowers all along the beach to protect this one spot where all the cables and the communication were going from England to the rest of the world, to America, down to Cape Town. It was incredible. The little bits around this are just made fun. I've just designed this cables T-shirt, and I've just turned up in a town where there's Old Cable Lane. And there's the old the cable station inn, which was for sale at this point. So I was texting my friends, come on, let's buy this pub. Let's make a cable pub. Yeah, it'd be awesome. This is me and as usual, precarious health and safety moment, fixing some cables in the museum. And this is it kind of working. Again, cables, DMX, woo! Everybody, we could talk about how problematic that could be in another talk. It did actually, in such a messy format, it did actually make something quite nice. And it's a bomb map of West Cornwall, West Penwith, if you want to be specific about your Cornish stuffs. I'd probably even say Porthcurno wrong, but the Cornwall fanatics can come and talk to me afterwards. So you can see that the Germans really tried to bomb this area, and they were trying to hit the cable, so stop the communication. And yeah, it was quite fun. And you kind of like, nice. This was with a project working with Abe Rogers Design, which was good. And this is me in front of some cables with my cables t-shirt that I just got printed that I was quite proud of. And some guys that put the cables under the sea for us many years ago and started the communication. And just along the coast from here is where Marconi did the first transatlantic wireless communication. It took, like 100 years after they started doing cables. And they've got a huge thing on the wall, and it says like only 3% of the world's data is transmitted through cables. So there we go. And this is the kind of place, the kind of maps and propaganda. It's such a cool museum if you ever get a chance to go. So, cables. Right, so there we go. We're on to light and build now. Or, as our work WhatsApp group calls it, light and bewilderment, which is probably full-fitting. It was their first time, and they definitely found it bewildering. Now, I designed this T-shirt for a number of reasons. One is, one reason, conversations. As I said, I'm not an expert. I'm only bothered about how things work and how I'm interacting with it as something I can sell on to people. I don't want to know about the network address and the STMP server or the, I want how it works, and I want to talk about that bit, and that's the bit that I think is important. So this is my colleague wearing her cables T-shirt, and we walked around and had fun and just had some conversations about it. This is a kind of like brief overhaul of when I did, why is this T-shirt? It's like 20% were kind of not even considered that this connectivity thing was just this buzzword, and they weren't even bothered about it. They weren't like, well, I'm here for the lights. I'm not really bothered about this thing. 40% agreed that it was difficult to use or there was problematic or issues were coming up, but they didn't really care. They were like, oh, the technology will sort itself out. And 35% were slightly bothered, but they're not going to do anything about it. And then there were 5% of people, and I'm sure some of them are going to talk to me afterwards, and they were the die-hard connectivity fanatics, the wireless people that really were like, you are an idiot. Why are you questioning this new technology? It's amazing. And I guess for them, it's kind of like Microsoft before we had Apples. Everything would work perfectly with Microsoft, but then when everyone got Apple, it's like, well, it works so much nicer, so I use this. And this is true. One of these devices, which remain nonetheless, I managed to get into. I've tried to come up with a lighting company name that would make it feel safe. So let's say this is Home Light. I logged in on the app, and then I was turning their lights off on the stand. Yeah. And as anyone that goes to Light and Build, you should seriously consider going to Hall 8 if you're into cables, because people are selling cable trays and stuff to do with cables, even rolls to do with cables. And if anyone's got this deep into Light and Build, it is totally bewildering. So much so, I got completely lost. And thank God for this Spanish guy. It totally saved me. I literally walked up to him, big hangover, we're going in about an hour, and I was lost. He directed me out. So that was nice. So I hope you get the Matrix joke on this one. But how deep does the cable duct go? Why are we bothered about cables, and what can we learn? We have the journey that I went on to talk about cables and learn stuff, so surely I should present something to you about learning. So this is me with a lot of cables and the kind of funny things. And after a summer of people shouting cables at me and coming up to me and all sorts of different conversations about this, it's been quite a fun thing. So yeah, so what? So what? This is me, the sheep, and this is me with the cable. Should I have the cable or should I have the wireless approach? Yeah. This is why I want to start to happen. If we're going to do this wireless technology, we're going to do it right. We want an open conversation. People need to listen about what the end people want and what we want to do with these things. At the moment, it's always someone comes to you, oh, look, check out this app. Yeah, you can add a room. Yeah, okay, living room. Great, it's for an art gallery. So many things to just start to bring into conversation, talk about how you can keep these things. Open lifetime. So many of these things are just locked into one lifetime, like the life cycle of your phone, 3 to 5 years. So much technology is going this way where it's just really, it's not good for the environment, it's not good for the world. We need to kind of start thinking about things that can work in the long term. And open source is very important. Need to keep these things open so anyone can use them and they can develop their own ways to communicate. So if I wanted to build a control system for it, then I could look to do that. I could communicate with different things, control 3 or 4 different types of this kind of connectivity over one system, and then other people could do that. Obviously, I'm a small designer working for a small design company, but sometimes I do build these kind of systems, and that's when I kind of want that flexibility that things are going to work and interchange with each other. Open knowledge. Let's talk to each other about the knowledge we're gaining and make something happen with it. And open connectivity. All these kind of points are like the good things that cables do, and that's what I want to bring to the wireless kind of world. We need to kind of like make things connect with each other easily and for a good way for the end user. And the final one, remind me later, instead of an update, I want a stop date. No more updates. If you release a product, give me that. That's it. I don't mind buying the new one in 3 years, but it's awesome maybe for some stuff, not for stuff I'm going to put in someone's ceiling, but stop date. Yeah, so here we go, cables and animals. I made a bit of a website, and if you're interested in getting a t-shirt because you feel strongly about cables or you just think it's an amusing topic, this is what the website says. And this kind of represents how I feel about the connectivity market with lighting really presenting themselves. There is no information, only overheard hearsay and opinion. The information has been lost by the interference of 1,000 useless local wireless signals. The real intention has been lost since the last update. There is no information as the source code is closed. And the marketing department have changed their URL, the Cable Illuminati department. Which is kind of how I feel at the end. You try and get any information out of these people. No chance. You want to change something? Pfft. My friend said this. He's a server technician. He was server technician for National Theatre, and now he's doing major banks. And he would love this T-shirt. He's like, this is my, he's dealing with a lot of cables. To more cables than I've could. All data runs through cables. It's the glue of humanity. And I think that's just such a profound statement. We need to really understand that our interconnected lives can get a lot better and can be a lot more full on. We can be connected to loads of different stuff. There's a lot of interesting technology being used when you walk around upstairs. Your phone vibrates when you walk past people. Maybe that's fun. It's wireless, but it seems to work because it's been annoying me. So yeah, it's going through cables before it vibrates me, so that's fine. And yeah, for the love of cables, that's my talk. Thank you. So yeah, open conversation.